Is hydroxychloroquine the answer to COVID-19?
It's a malaria drug. It's also a drug for lupus. I hope it's going to be a very important answer. We're just hearing really positive stories, and we're continuing to collect the data.
Yesterday in a White House briefing, Trump said that they had stockpiled hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19, and he told people to try it.
What happens if you do have a ventilator? What are your chances? What do you have to lose? Take it. I really think they should take it, but it's their choice, and it's their doctor's choice. But hydroxychloroquine, try it if you'd like.
Although there has been limited testing, it could be weeks before we have significant evidence about whether hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin is an effective treatment for COVID-19. Furthermore, there is a long list of seriously dangerous side effects associated with the drug, so using it as a treatment should not be taken lightly. That being said, shouldn't people have the right to try? I chat to a patient who used hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin prescribed by a doctor to treat himself when he got the coronavirus. Petty Metzger is the patient, and he describes the process and how effective it was for him. And we talk about the studies done on hydroxychloroquine, the side effects, and the disastrous response of the FDA in handling COVID-19 testing and treatments. Petty Metzger, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
The whole coronavirus outbreak has brought up the concept of right to try in America. And a lot of people were outraged because yesterday Trump gave a press conference and he said, listen, hydroxychloroquine, it seems to have worked in France. They've done studies on it. Try it. You know, it's up to your physician, but try it. And people were outraged.
So both of the drugs that people have been talking about, hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, are approved already. The question is whether or not they are safe and effective for this purpose. The Chinese were fairly desperate at the height of their own epidemic, and they tried a great number of things, most of which don't seem to have worked. It was known for a long time that hydroxychloroquine has some antiviral properties, so they just started trying it and they anecdotally got good results. We only got actual results from clinical trials done in China in the last few days. We have the results of 2 trials. One of them had 30 patients sorted into 2 groups at random, and it came back and said hydroxychloroquine does not work. And the other one had 62 patients sorted into 2 groups of 31 at random, and it came back and said hydroxychloroquine absolutely works. We already have some problems there.
Right.
There was a fairly famous study that was done by some French infectious disease researchers. In their paper, they say, you shouldn't believe this too much. This is an open label, non-randomized study in which our controls are patients in a different hospital. They did the study accidentally. Some of their patients, they were giving hydroxychloroquine, and some of them they were giving hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, and this was not planned out. They noticed that the patients who got hydroxychloroquine seemed to clear the viral load faster, and that the patients who got both hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin seemed to clear it much faster. They decided, okay, let's publish this, even though it's a crap study, because we want other people to look into it as quickly as possible. The French have also published a study where they traced the cases of 80 patients that they gave the drug combination to. This was not a controlled study, not a randomized study. It's a so-called observational study, but they noticed again that the patients seemed to respond well. Does this mean that it works? No. Does this mean it does not work? A lot of people out there who have political axes to grind with the administration. By the way, I have a political axe to grind with the administration, who basically seem to have taken the attitude, since Trump has said this is a good idea, we must oppose this with every fiber in our beings, which is crazy, okay? Everyone on both sides of that sort of political derangement should be ignored. This is a question for science. It is a question for medicine. It is not a question for people to take sides on based on their political tribe. One of the things to keep in mind is that hydroxychloroquine is a nasty drug. There is a list of side effects 1.5 miles long.
What kind of side effects?
Anything from digestive upset to blindness, psychotic breaks. The combination of azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine can cause arrhythmias. It can cause something called QT elongation. There are other heart problems that it can cause. These are serious things, and they are especially serious things to get under conditions where hospitals basically don't exist. You start having serious heart problems, there is not a safe place for you to go to be treated for it at the moment. The line between a therapeutic dose of hydroxychloroquine and a dangerous one is very thin. It is used very commonly for lupus patients, for patients with rheumatoid arthritis, a variety of other conditions, but that's, with doctors monitoring them and paying attention. The drug also has the disadvantage that it has a 50-day half-life, 50 days. That means after about 2 months, half of the drug, all of the drug you've taken so far will still be circulating in your bloodstream. So if you have a bad reaction, you're not getting off the carnival ride. You are staying on the carnival ride for quite some time.
You recently had the unfortunate experience of contracting COVID.
I had pretty classic symptoms, high fever, dry cough, clearly had pneumonia, etc. But unfortunately, even now, it is very difficult to get tested in New York State. I was in pretty bad shape. I had a fever of 103.5 and rising. My blood oxygen levels were falling. I had a horrible, headache, muscle aches. I have lung issues. I have, I'm middle-aged. I have a variety of reasons that I was pretty worried about what was happening. I had very, very carefully read the papers on what bad things the stuff would do to me. I knew what I was doing. I spun the roulette wheel. I got my primary care physician to prescribe hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin for me. And about 5 hours later, my fever was down to 100.7. My blood oxygen level was up substantially. By the next morning, I felt much better still. I have been slowly recovering since then. It did not, cure me. I've probably had, pleuritic lung inflammation ever since. I have a pretty bad coughing fit every hour or two. I often feel as though I have run a marathon after walking around for half an hour, but it may have helped me. I mean, it was a very, very dramatic turnaround. I would say that the evidence we have is better than anecdote at this point. It's quite promising. It's just not yet known to be something that people should be trying in bulk. If you are in serious shape, it is not the worst thing to try. Should we be mass prescribing this even to people with mild cases right now? I don't think so. It could end up killing more people than it helps. I personally made the decision to try it. I was very well informed about the circumstances. I think that the right to try is really important. People should have the right to use drugs even before they are fully approved, understanding that there's no guarantees and that maybe the drug will kill them. There are circumstances where it is warranted. In this case, I thought that it was warranted for myself. I suppose we will find out in the long term whether it was. And I do hope that more states start passing right to try laws, because that seems to me to be a pretty damn good thing too. If it turns out to work, we don't have enough of the stuff. Right. The worldwide supply of hydroxychloroquine is pretty limited. Right now, it is very, very difficult even for hospitals to get their hands on enough of it.
Right.
You need tons of the stuff, literally tons of it, per day for millions of people. This is a pretty tragic situation that we're in.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, and I'm glad to see you on the mend there, and I hope your cough continues to get better.
Yeah, I'm glad to see me on the mend too. Thank you very much.
YouTube is demonetizing all videos about the coronavirus, so it's thanks to community support that I'm able to keep this channel running. A huge thank you to all the members of NBTV. If you found this video useful, then please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to become a member of NBTV, then visit naomibrockwell.com/memberships. Thank you so much for watching.